today's video, we are going to talk about the hazard in the workplace. So wet floors happen from time to time. Mopping rain and melting snow are common reasons for wet floors. While statistics shows that the majority of falls happen at the same level, resulting from slips and trips. So slips and trips and falls constitute the majority of general industry accidents. Slips with rearward falls that causes injury to the head, back, and pelvis, and falls from standing position can be fatal. They can cause like 15% of all accidental death. So the person who had an accident or fall because of the wet floor, well, they can have there is a physical hazard because of wet and slippery floors are a leading cause of slip and fall accidents that result in personal injury or death. So there are several ways floor, not only in the store, but also in office building, home, or other location can become wet and slippery. Well, who are at risk? First of all, the customers. They are primarily at risk of this kind of hazard. Well, when a customer comes in and they are not aware that the floor is wet, they might slip or trip and fall and could have a sprain, strain or bruise, concussions, or fracture. For who's going to be liable for this accident is the employer can be held liable for the negligence of an employee and responsible for the loss and damage caused by the employee. The employee's act or omission must be committed in the course or scope of their employment. Owners or managers who fail to meet their duty of safety to someone who slips and falls because a wet and slippery floor on their property may be held liable. A personal injury claim may seek compensation for the fall, victim's medical expenses, and other losses, as well as for pain and suffering. Okay, one way to help ensure people are reasonably safe is to warn them about potential dangerous conditions like wet or slippery areas of the floor. For example, the staff here in the front can put a wet floor sign such as like this, put it on the area where there is where the floor is wet. Okay, so it says here a caution wet floor. It should be visible and the customer should be aware that there is a signage in here. And you can also put like a sign on the door that says caution wet floor before, so that at least the customer can see it before they enter the door. So what is the difference is that it's a contributory negligence, and it is a common law tort rule which bars plaintiff from recovering from the negligence of others if they too were negligent in causing the harm. Contributory negligence has been replaced in many jurisdictions with the doctrine of comparative negligence. In a personal injury case, the plaintiff must prove that the defendant did not behave reasonably in the circumstances and caused the injury and should be financially responsible for the injury. While under the concept of contributory negligence, even though the defendant is at least partly at fault for an accident, they can't be held responsible because the plaintiff was also partly at fault. When contributory negligence applies, the defendant can avoid being held liable for losses if the plaintiff also shares any responsibility for the harm that occurred. So that's all for our video for today, and I hope that you have learned one of the hazard that can cause to customers in a workplace. Thank you and have a great day. Hello everyone and welcome to my humble home, and today we are going to talk about the hazard that's gonna happen or it can happen inside your home if we are being negligent. So one sample of that is that charging a electrical scooter or e-scooter. E-scooter is being known or being popular due to how convenient it is, and not only that, they are also fun to use and environmentally friendly. What are the hazards that can cause by charging electrical scooter? So it can cause fire. So when the question is, can you overcharge the battery? Overcharging, which can result in irreparable damage, happens when the battery is charged beyond its capacity. If you overcharge a battery, it could potentially overheat or even catch fire. E-scooter battery fires are soaring all over the news. So when people charge their e-bike overnight, it may cause injury to family members or substantial property damage. A landlord is responsible for providing and maintaining a residential complex, or including the rental units in it, in a good state of repair and fit for habitation, and for complying with health, safety, housing, and maintenance standards. So our landlord is responsible for maintaining that. But if the tenant has caused the fire, the tenant is financially obligated to pay for the expenses for repairing damages incurred by the fire. To ensure the safety of charging e-bike or e-scooter, make sure that it is being charged away from the combustible or flammable materials. And as to what I do is, like I do when I charge my e-scooter, I set an alarm for like 3 hours so that I won't forget that I am charging my scooter. So that is my advice on how are you gonna take care of like not to overcharge the scooter. So this type of negligence, this is I can tell that it is a gross negligence, wherein omission to exercise the slightest level of due diligence. Liable parties cause harm by failing to use the tiniest fraction of care to avoid an accident, and the actions are deliberately and show disregard for the consequences others may suffer. Well, in case of gross negligence, the party knew or should have known the risk of their actions. Thank you.